What did you say? Whoosh. The primal energy around Meng Kongchen one lost control for an instant, shaking the vast space as if it would shatter. The wrath of a divine venerable too was truly terrifying. Although his momentarily uncontrolled energy dissipated in an instant, the silvery light flickering in his eyes did not fade for a long time. An invisible soul pressure made Meng Kangji 3, Meng Xuanji 4, and the others who were fully 10 Li 5 away abruptly halt their steps, their bodies chilled to the bone. Wuming Divine Venerable 6, Meng Jiangxi's 7 face was also filled with shock. Why would she want to kill you? I completely don't remember you offending her in any way. HMPH? Meng Kongchen snorted heavily. That mad woman, there's nothing crazy or perverse she wouldn't do, but this time she actually dared to lay hands on Yuan or 8. Meng Jiangxi's mouth opened and closed, speechless for a moment. This was the second time in his life he had so clearly perceived his father God's 9 fury, so intense it was overflowing. The first time was 100 years ago, when Meng Jianyuan disappeared. Senior need not be angry, Yun Qi consoled with a placid expression. Although Eternal Night Divine Maiden 11 harbored killing intent, before she could take action, she was severely wounded from exhaustion from her heavy injuries. Instead, Kai Li 12 struck her a grievous blow. That sword strike nearly took half her life. In terms of outcome, Eternal Night was actually the one who suffered a great loss. That serves her right. Meng Kongchen's anger was undiminished, the silvery light in his eyes growing even more solid. He slowly turned his gaze, his powerful divine soul silently enveloping the direction of the Eternal Night Divine Kingdom, murmuring in a low voice. We, the Dreamweavers 3, disdain to fight with mad dogs, but that is by no means out of fear. This time, his voice suddenly stopped. A moment later, an elegant woman's voice came from outside. Su Shang 14 pays her respects. My master invites the Yuan Godson 15 for an audience. Divine Official Linxian. Meng Jiangxi's face showed shock once more. First, the Abyssal Emperor 17 summoned him, and now Divine Official Linxian. Such treatment for Yun Qi was absolutely unprecedented in all of the Abyss's 18 history. Meng Kongchen's expression was indifferent. He gave a slight nod. Go. As soon as Yun Qi stepped out, a wisp of gentle wind lifted him up. Compared to their first meeting, Su Shang's extremely elegant and refined face now held a hint of a gentle, faint smile. Godson Yuan, there is no need to be nervous, nor any need for words. Simply follow me. My thanks. Yun Qi gave a light bow and followed as they took to the air. Watching Yun Qi disappear into the clouds, Meng Jiangxi was just about to speak when his vision suddenly blurred. Meng Kongchen's figure had already vanished, leaving behind a lingering soul aura that made one's heart palpitate with fear for a long time. Meng Kongchen flashed away. When he halted, he stood facing Hua Fuchen. The two exchanged a glance. Meng Kongchen said coldly, You came just in time. It's time to go meet that mad woman. Hua Fuchen, however, replied lightly, Private combat is forbidden upon the Paradise 20, even more so between divine venerables. HMPH, Meng Kongchen's brow darkened. That mad woman isn't worthy of making us provoke the Paradise, but sending a big gift shouldn't be considered breaking Paradise's rules, right? Heh, Hua Fuchen chuckled faintly. As expected, I know you too well. When it concerns Meng Jianyuan, you are truly enraged this time. I'm afraid you can't even wait to leave the Paradise. Let's go. Hua Fuchen had never intended to stop him from the start. With me by your side, she will definitely receive your gift. Passing through layers of thin clouds, the world before their eyes became a riot of colors. 10,000 trees and countless flowers filled their vision, a scene that for the myriad beings of the abyss was no less than a paradise of their wildest imaginings. The abode of Divine Official Linxian too. Divine Attendant Su Shang 22 descended with Yun Qi, turning to guide him. Godson Yuan, please. Master has been waiting for some time. Before them lay a sea of flowers that seemed to have no end. Yun Qi said nothing more, giving a slight nod before slowly stepping forward. After 3 steps, the space ahead suddenly rippled like water. As the ripples dissipated, the world before his eyes silently transformed. A delicate wooden hut, a sea of clouds formed by flawless, pure white Kaiyun branches. 23, a figure in bright red stood before this sea of clouds, strikingly conspicuous amidst the vast expanse of pristine white. His gaze fell upon her. A long gown of crimson sunset trailed on the ground. The cuffs and hem were embroidered with intricate flame divine patterns. The divine patterns on the back even outlined the gorgeous patterns of phoenix wings, faintly swirling with vermilion fiery light. making every flutter of her sleeves seem to be surrounded by the phantom image of a vermilion bird 24 spreading its wings. The space around her was suffused with a faint, fiery spiritual energy. The divine aura of the vermilion bird, tempered over countless eons, carrying both the grandeur of flame and the timelessness of endless years. The Phoenix and Golden Crow 25 bloodlines within Yun Chi's body simultaneously stirred, intensely so. Yun Chi quickly bowed. Yun Chi of the Dreamweaver Divine Kingdom 26 pays his respects to Senior Lynxian. The figure in bright red slowly turned. The legendary divine official Lynxian was finally fully revealed before Yun Chi's gaze. He was momentarily stunned. In the current Abyssal World 27, there were only 5 true gods 28 who existed not through divine inheritance 2, the Abyssal Emperor and the 4 divine officials. The lifespans of true gods were exceedingly long, making their appearances even less indicative of age. Divine officials like 6 Smiles 30, who simply didn't care about appearance, were one thing, but as the only woman among the 5 gods, divine official Lynxian in common perception should relatively value her appearance and would likely use her true god power to maintain a youthful form as much as possible. However, the divine official Lynxian before him, her ageness far exceeded Yun Chi's expectations. "Child, there's no need for such formalities," she spoke, her voice gentle as the spring breeze caressing willows. Her face was covered in deep, aged wrinkles, profound as the growth rings of an ancient tree. The lines at the corners of her eyes and brows held deep imprints of time's passage. Her eyes held the turbidity of old age, yet were filled with a gentle smile, seemingly capable of transforming all the world's agitation into clear autumn water. "I've called you here this time to have a chat with this old woman. I hope you won't find it bothersome." Such a kindly voice and words were difficult to believe came from the mouth of a Paradise divine official. Yun Chi hastily made a slight bow. "Senior Lynxian, what are you saying? To receive your summons is an immense honor for this junior." Divine official Lynxian gave a faint, gentle smile. She raised her long sleeve, and as her withered hand beneath it moved, a delicate cushion appeared before Yun Chi. "Child, sit." "Yes." Although feeling it might be somewhat discourteous, Yun Chi naturally could not refuse. He sat down as instructed. Divine official Lynxian simply watched him quietly for a good while before sighing with emotion. "It is indeed the aura of Lord Nixuan III. To think that after experiencing the world's separation, I could, in these final, exhausted moments, once again bask in the divine aura of Lord Nixuan. Surely it is heaven's 32 compassion." Yun Chi said, "Could it be that Senior Lynxian and my master are old acquaintances?" Divine official Lynxian, however, shook her head. "What existence is Lord Nixuan? How could I have the honor of being closely acquainted with him? But our Vermilion Bird clan has received Lord Nixuan's great kindness for generations. This grace is engraved upon our divine souls, impossible to forget even in annihilation." Yun Chi had no words to respond to this. Divine official Lynxian raised her eyes, her gaze drifting to some unknown, distant sky. She suddenly murmured, somewhat absently, "He hasn't laughed so genuinely in far too many years." Yun Chi. Yun Chi did not rashly ask who he was. Divine official Lynxian proactively provided the answer. "Since he came to this world and became the Abyssal Emperor, his soul has seemed as if already dead. No anger, no surprise, no resentment, no sorrow. His occasional smiles are merely movements of his face, devoid of even a trace of true joy. Only within that Eden's sacred hall 33 lingers sorrow and grief that can never be dispersed. Never did I think, before the end of my life, I could see a moment of his genuine smile once more." Her flower-white hair was tied up with a red jade hairpin, a few stray strands falling beside her temples, echoing the red of her robe and rippling with an ancient, divine charm. At this moment, Yun Chi suddenly understood the meaning behind Hua Kaylee's 3 several unspoken, hesitant words. "Senior," he spoke, "forgive this junior's presumption, but regarding the Abyssal Emperor, do you harbor an attachment that you cannot sever?" Divine official Lynxian smiled. A faint layer of mist slowly floated up within her turbid gaze. "That was in a time long, long past. Back then, I was a rebellious young fledgling, because my Vermilion Bird bloodline was impure, and coupled with being born with an unusual physique that simultaneously held powers of wind and lightning. I often faced the strange and disdainful gazes of my clansmen. Later, in a fit of pique, I ran away, fell into a poisonous marsh, and nearly perished. Fortunately, he saved me. For him, it was but a glance from that year. he never knew it was the beginning of my lifelong watchful longing. Back then, he was the heaven-slaying Crown Prince 35, and I was but a tiny little fledgling. I could only gaze upon him from afar, watching foolishly, longing obsessively. Until the terrible news came. He had fallen into the abyss of nothingness 36. At that time, I felt all hope in this life was gone, all light extinguished. In a daze for several decades, I ultimately chose to descend into the abyss to follow him. Yun Chi. Facing a junior she had just met, she held nothing back in her narration. Although her visage was aged, the gentleness emanating from within and her ancient, divine charm made her seem like a goddess who had stepped out of an ancient painting, carrying a silent majesty, yet so approachable that one couldn't help but feel reverence. In this world we met again. He saved me once more. I once thought this was a blessing bestowed by heaven, but he had completely changed. There was no longer light in his eyes, no longer a smile on his lips, and his body no longer held that soul-cleansing, radiant aura. My wish also changed repeatedly over the long years and torment, from hoping he would accept my feelings, to wishing to dispel the sorrow in his heart, to hoping to persuade him to let go of his obsession, and finally, simply wishing to see him smile his former smile once more. But my 3,000,000 years of foolish longing ultimately amounted to nothing but foolish delusion. Yun Chi looked at her aged face, listening to her divine voice that seemed to come from remote antiquity, his heart filled with endless complexity. Behind Mosu's 3 obsession, deep as an abyss, was also tied another's 3,000,000 years of unchanging, foolish devotion. Senior's unwavering, devoted affection 38 is something this junior deeply admires, Yun Chi sincerely exclaimed. Divine official Linxian's gaze returned, her eyes still holding gentle, soft kindness. Child, do you know why he likes you so much? Yun Chi did not respond, quietly waiting for the answer. For him, the 2 most important people in his life are her and Lord Nixuan. And you are Lord Nixuan's successor. Moreover, you share too many similarities with him. When you alone bore the double desolate devouring punishment 39 for Kaylee atop the Eden Cloud Peak, he saw his own former shadow in you once more. Your appearance made his long-dead heart sprout new shoots. So, I owe you a great favor once again. Yun Chi modestly said, to have attracted the Abyssal Emperor's notice is an immense honor for this junior. The words favor or debt of gratitude are absolutely not something I dare presume. Divine official Linxian smiled faintly but suddenly said, in remote antiquity, although the Vermilion Bird, Phoenix, and Golden Crow clans shared a common fiery origin, later, due to differences in ideology, they became incompatible. Now, Phoenix Flame and Golden Crow Flame coexist peacefully within your body alone. I imagine only Lord Nixuan's profound veins could allow this. She slowly raised her hand. On her withered finger was a red jade ring engraved with Vermilion Bird divine patterns. As crimson flames ignited in her palm, ripples of fire, rhythmic like a melody, undulated around the ring, gradually linking into a beautiful, heart-cleansing melody. Since it is so, I shall also ignite the Vermilion Bird flame upon your body. Her words fell. Without waiting for any response from Yun Chi, her pupils suddenly transformed into endless, blazing, fiery abysses. An ancient divine cry resounded through the paradise sky. Behind divine official Linxian, a colossal divine phantom stood towering in the air, its head held high like carved jade, its phoenix eyes long and narrow, sharp and penetrating. Its pupils were deep, bottomless, crimson-gold vortexes, reflecting both sky-scorching flames and the vicissitudes of endless eons. See, Senior! A boom drowned out Yun Chi's voice. The Vermilion Bird divine phantom's wings spanned 10,000 li. Its feathers were like molten cinnabar cast, each plume flowing with fiery, glaze-like splendor. As it beat its wings, it was like crimson sunset clouds churning, the heat waves it stirred transforming into a sky full of flowing fire, scorching the paradise firmament until it rippled with distorted red light, layer upon layer like the burnt embers of dusk. The feather strands trailing from its wingtips were like falling stars descending to dust, transforming into blazing crimson lotuses upon touching the ground, blooming instantly before returning to nothingness. Upon the paradise, all abyssal knights 41 looked up and bowed from afar, as if gazing upon a deity. Yun Chi's vision became a field of pure crimson. Flames submerged the world he was in, but the fire enveloping his body lacked the scorching intensity of Phoenix Flame or the violent ferocity of Golden Crow Flame. Instead, it was a warmth that went from body to heart, like countless gentle hands lightly caressing, soothing every scar engraved upon his soul. The surging fiery aura was ethereal yet profound and heavy, seeming capable of burning away all hesitation and incinerating all falsehoods. "Master, your aura!" The sound of space being forcibly torn open rang in his ears, followed by divine attendant Su Shang's completely shattered, panicked cry stripped of all its former elegance. Yun Qi jolted as if awakening from an ethereal fiery dream. As his vision refocused, he was shocked to see that in divine official Lingxian's palm were now 6 drops of crimson blood, with a 7th slowly coalescing. Divine attendant Su Shang's figure was blocked by the fiery domain, unable to approach. Only her terrified voice kept coming. "Master, stop, with your body. How can you deplete your primal origin essence blood 42 like this? Stop. Master, Su Shang begs you, stop. I beg you to take care of yourself." Divine official Lingxian, however, did not cease. The smile at the corner of her mouth, gentle and carrying a trace of faint satisfaction, remained. She said softly, "Su Shang, there is no need for worry or sorrow. This is a repayment to him and also the fulfillment of my own wish. After my life is extinguished, the vermilion bird flame will surely burn again completely within him.